Hey guys, and welcome to a very special versus video. I'm Todd Anderson, joined today by Gerry Thompson. How's it going?
Not great, I guess.
What?
No, I'm doing well, man. Thanks for having me.
All right, well, today we're going to be having a little fun. Everyone hates standard, so we're just going to be playing some modern. And Jerry's got a sweet deck. This guy is not messing around. Let's take a look, man.
So GP Kobe happened last weekend, and I heard about the breakdowns, like, oh, a couple burn decks, a little affinity deck, blah, 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 just the usual stuff. And I'm like, well, I'll just check out the deck list. You never know, right?
Yeah.
This guy that got second place has basically 20 lava axes in his affinity deck, and between the main deck and sideboard, he has the full 5 colors, and this deck looked so awesome that I wanted to play with it.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen Tarmogoyf in an affinity deck in quite some time.
Yeah.
That is no longer normal, whereas before it was at some points. But I like the look of this deck, man. This guy's got a bunch of 4-ofs. He's, like I said, he's not messing around.
Right, so normally you see like the Arcbound Ravagers, Steel Overseers, like all these things that really require you to have a bunch of artifacts in play. It's very synergy-based, and then someone plays like an Ancient Grudge or a Shatterstorm or whatever, you're just like, well, guess I'm dead, But this guy has Tarmogoyf, so it's like, yeah, cast Shatterstorm, I'll attack you for 5, whatever. Cranial Plating, pretty standard with like some Ornithopters, Vault Scourges, whatever. This is, I think Tarmogoyf is like a Lava Axe, it's Lava Axe with buyback, right? Plating is like, what's a 4 damage, like a Boros Charm with buyback?
Lightning Blast.
Well, yeah, but it can target players, right?
Oh, sure.
Anyway, Boros Charm.
Boros Charm, but that costs more than 4 mana. You were trying to make...
Whatever, man. Okay, so, and Soul Artifact, another one with buyback. So it's like, I think for the most part, you're expecting to get in like 1, maybe 2 hits with these things, and then close out games with Galvanic Blast and Shrapnel Blast.
Yeah, I mean, this deck seems pretty straightforward. Like, and Soul Artifact is, the new card out of M15 that's really, like, shaking up this archetype, I think.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of people trying it in the more stock versions of the deck, but I think it actually fits much better into this one when you're trying to Shrapnel Blast, Galvanic Blast them to death.
Oh, yeah.
Your opponent just takes, like, 2 to 4 damage from their shock lands and their fetch lands, and then you're just like, pow, pow, you're dead.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I feel like this is just, like, a very sweet burn deck, and it looks like it's somewhat resilient to hate also, so yeah. I was very excited to try that out. We wanted to find a matchup that had some stuff, not like Stony Silence, because that's just like not fun,
Yeah.
Like I'm not sure how you're going to really beat that. But some Ancient Grudges, some Shatterstorms, stuff like that, and we'll see. The only thing that I think is kind of weird is that there's only 14 lands, and I know that most affinity decks have like 15, and like some trend up towards like 20 if you count Mox Opal.
Yeah,
but this is like 18 total with all 5 colors, a lot of hard 2-drops, which not a lot of affinity decks have. So,
well, to be fair, he's also playing the full amount of Memnite, which a lot of the affinity decks only play like 2.
And he has Chromatic Stardust Cycle. So I'm not sure how that's going to affect things. I feel like the deck should have an extra land, but we'll see.
Yeah, but do you have a sideboard handy that you would like to talk about?
I do.
All right, well, we'll go ahead and take a cut to that and take a look at it. All right, so tell me a little bit about this sideboard, Gerry. I feel like we're adding another color here, right? Like...
Yeah, well, 4 is good, but the logic stands that if 4 is good, 5 has to be better,
yeah,
right?
I mean, you do have, like 14 5-color sources, like Chromatic Star, the six lands, and the 4 Mox Opals, so...
And the drums.
Oh, yeah, and the Springleaf Drum. So you have a lot of ways to actually cast all these spells, right? Like, you only have, 8 lands that tap for colorless mana, and the rest are... All your other mana sources tap for all 5 colors. So.
Correct. So, an additional Thoughtseize for combo decks, some Ancient Grudges for the mirror match, Sunbeam Spellbomb because it's awesome. And, I mean, it's good against Burn. In theory, but he lost to Burn in the finals,
We actually had this conversation outside a few minutes ago, where we talked about Yuya Watanabe when he won a Grand Prix a few months ago with Mono Black Devotion. He was playing 4 copies of Staff of the Death Magus.
Yeah.
And
Burn was just starting to pick up popularity, but now I think...
But he also played against Burn in the finals, right? Against Shirumpu? Wasn't
that
yeah. So, like, clearly these guys, like, they kind of know how to metagame in their area, right? Like, there is a lot of Burn, apparently, in that side of the world.
Yeah, it just so happened that this guy lost, so maybe he should have had a 3rd Sun Bomb?
Yeah.
I don't know. But anyway, yeah, who knows? Maybe the 4th would have helped. I don't know, but... I got some Spell Skites, good against Boggles and Splinter Twin, Whip Flares for any creature matchup, There are no creatures that die to this, so it's just like Pyroclasm U.
Yeah, very similar to like Rough Tumble and Legacy Delver.
I mean, I guess if your Tarmogoyf's in 0-1, it'll die, but
Well,
you should probably not do that.
Don't cast Whip Flare in Tarmogoyf's no one.
Okay, lesson learned.
Yeah.
Wear and Tears, also for Mirror Match, probably Twin. There's, a lot of crazy artifacts and enchantments out there.
Yeah, I do play a little bit of Modern, and like every time my opponent casts like Ghostly Prison or some junk, I just like I want to have some way to get it off the board. But
right.
I mean, I don't know how relevant that is in this matchup. But there are. I mean, it kills Stony Silence too. Like,
oh yeah, that's a good one. Okay, so Ava Mind Sensor, Scape Shift, Birthing Pod, decent amount of decks at shuffle.
Yep.
Or attempt to search and whatnot. And then Path to Exiles, presumably just for Twin and maybe Tarmogoyf. I'm not sure. As far as the matchup that we're playing against Andy Boswell's Jund deck, I'm not sure what I really want from here. Like maybe a Thoughtseize against Shatterstorm, maybe Path to kill like Olivia and Tarmogoyf, but even then it's just like maybe the main deck is just good, Like, you can't really sideboard anything specific in that matchup, so.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to hate Jund, right? And, like, all these cards seem very specific on what they try to do, so.
Yeah, so Modern is a pretty big format, and Affinity is already, like, a very fast deck, so you might actually just get draws where you race combo decks anyway. So you don't really need that much help, but it is basically just like a couple cards for a lot of different matchups.
Yeah, I mean, as you can see, like most of the sideboard is just comprised of 2-ofs because there are very few matchups where you have enough cards to side out, like 4 things for 4 other things. So yeah.
And you also don't want to dilute your deck too much.
Yep, agreed. All right, well, that's all for Affinity, or I guess we'll call it Lavax Affinity.
20 questions.
20 questions.
Allow me to ask you a question.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm going to be playing Andy Boswell's Jund deck from Grand Prix Boston Booster from like the week before the last Pro Tour, and it should be fun. Maybe. It might not be that fun. I might just get steamrolled.
Yeah, we'll see. It'll be fun for me then.
Yeah, all right.